Hello, what's going on YouTube? This is Tall155, and for my first Minecraft video, I'm going to be doing a tutorial and showcase for a fantastic new feature I came up with while working on my adventure map. So, for those of you who don't know, I've been working on an adventure map for the last 4 months, and it's come to a decent stage of completion. But yesterday, I came up with a very cool feature involving villagers. So I'm gonna go ahead and show that off now. So if I right click on the villager, it gives you text, which this isn't particularly new. I think other people have done this in the past. But what's new is that there are now dialogue options, so you can select a particular branch of story of dialogue to follow. So for example, if I click on the story mode, he'll tell me more about the story for this map. Brave adventurer, you have arrived just in time. King Leon of Galvonia, my lord, has called the bravest adventurers together from across the world to save his kingdom, blah blah blah. And then I can click more and get some more information. And then, boom, I get a nice firework effect, and I'm wished luck. And if I want, I can click on the mechanics tab, and I'll be able to learn more about the gameplay mechanics. I can just click through that. I think that's rather cool. For those of you who have no idea how I did this, it's actually rather simple. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the explanation now. Alright, so here we are in my adventure map command block area, and I'm going to go ahead and show off the feature that lets me do this. So, first of all, I have a couple of objectives for this. One of which is an objective by the name of right click. Whoops, right click, which is a stat.talked to villager objective. And I have it called right click when it's displayed. I keep pressing the wrong button. It already exists, so I'm not going to go ahead and create it again. And the other objective is a scoreboard objectives. Goodness gracious. Okay. Scoreboard objectives add dialogue. Wow. Okay. I can't type today. Dialogue state, and it's a dummy. I'm sorry. It's a trigger actually. And I call it conversation point. So basically, I have several command blocks. First of all, I tell Ra to all players who are within a 10-block radius of the villager on the island, and if they right-click on the villager, which is the stat.talk to villager score, they get it increments the right-click score by 1. So it tells players who've right-clicked on the villager and are within a 10-block radius this message. And at the end and on the button part of the message, it says it has the mechanics. And it's in a certain color, and the click event is run command /trigger dialogue state set 1. So basically, if you click on the mechanics button, it sets your dialogue state score to 1, and if you click on the story one, it sets your dialogue state to 2. And then if I go ahead and look at the other command block, it's looking for players in a 10-block radius around the villager whose dialogue state is 1. So this is basically, if I've clicked on the mechanics score, which is why your dialogue state score is 1, it'll tell you this message, and only if you've clicked that button. And so, you get this other message here, explaining the game, and then it goes ahead, and I've edited the mechanics button, so it now says more, so you can get more information about mechanics from that, and it sets your dialogue state to 3. So basically, along this big chain here, from here to here, well, actually, from here to here, all these are detecting odd-numbered dialogue states, 1 through, I think, 13 or so. yeah, 1 through 13, and every odd-numbered state has its own. These are all part of the mechanics tab here, and so each one of them, I'm sorry, mechanics conversation line. So if you have a mechanics score of anywhere on an odd number of 1 through 13, a certain message will be displayed with its own with its own button leading to the next message in that conversation, if that makes any sense. This is my first Minecraft video, so I'm not really used to explaining command blocks. But yeah, I think it's a very cool system, and I really haven't seen anything like it, so I think I'm probably one of the first people to come up with it, which feels pretty good, actually. But and then for the story section, notice if I click on this, it doesn't do anything because I'm not within a 10-block radius of the villager. You'll notice that I have a telleraw here for the dialogue state for even numbers, also with a 10-block radius. And these also follow their own conversation line, which is a lot shorter because it takes fewer messages to display the story, which is just 2 or 3 command blocks. And the advantage to doing this as opposed to just having a button with a telleraw, which is actually, from what I can tell, it's actually impossible to have a button with a telleraw because of how the original telleraw message will interact with it, which is actually kind of irritating. But at the same time, it also lets you, since you're using an objective, scoreboard objective, and you're detecting that scoreboard objective, you can have multiple things happen at the same time. So I could have it could tell me a message, but it could also at the same time launch a firework, as you saw. So you could use this for all kinds of things, including shops, including quests. Fantastic amount of a fantastically huge amount of possibilities for what you can do with this particular kind of system. Just make sure that when you create your objectives, that you have command blocks at the extreme of your x and y coordinate, of your x and z coordinates, that reset your right click and your conversation scores back to 0. That's extremely important. I mean, without that, you will have the same message being spammed as long as you're within that 10 block radius. And yeah, it's rather bad. It gets really, really, really irritating. So, for example, over here at the extreme of the x and z coordinates on the spawn chunks, I have a dialogue state set to 0 and a, whoops, I have forgotten where I put the other one, but yeah, I have a one that resets your right click score as well. And so that's pretty much it, actually. It's fairly basic, but well, it's fairly uncomplicated if you're used to handling command blocks, but it's probably not something you want to jump into if you're brand new to command blocks. However, I do have to say that it is an extremely modular system. I mean, if I want to add an additional frame for the dialogue, for example, I just need to change what score it's looking for, and the message itself, and the framework for everything is extremely simple. So I just copy and paste these and change what they're looking for and what each button does, and that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.